Hebrew months, we are entering now the month of Tevet. Capricorn, few days will come, but as in Hebrew, Tevet and Capricorn are connected, the ideas are very similar, as I wrote in my book above the Zodiac. You can get it in my site, GlazersonBooks.com, Amazon, other places. But as I said, because really Tevet and Capricorn are connected in ideas, as we just know, so discuss about Capricorn now, which you have in my book. Now, the month of Tevet was formed according to the book of formation, Sefer Yetzirah, related to Abraham. In this book, really, you have explanation of each month, even each zodiac, how they were created, with which letter, because we believe that the word was created with the Hebrew letters. Bereshit bara Elokim et. In the beginning, God created et, the 22 letter from Aleph to Tav. So every month was created with a letter, and definitely in Hebrew, every letter has meaning. Yeah? Not like in English, ABC, you have every word. In fact, the letters of the word represent, each one represents an idea. So it was created with the letter Ayin. The Aleph, you have Samech Ayin. Samech was the letter of Sagittarius, and Ayin is the letter with which this month Tevet, Capricorn, was created. And every month also is according to by the Kluya and other Kabbalists have different character. So what is the character of this? What is the nature of this month? This is anger. Interesting, anger. The sign, as we know, is a goat. Now, the part of the body, there is also part of the body which is really parallel to this month, and this is the liver. Interesting, huh? So the idea is that in the physical body, in every part is connected with a different sign of zodiac and month. So this is the liver. Now what is interesting is that according to Kabbalah, the month of Tevet is not such a good month for Jews, as we know. Tomorrow we are going to fast for the beginning of the besieging on Jerusalem. This was really basically the beginning of the destruction. So definitely is not a good time, as you mentioned also, that this is a very important day, up in heaven, deciding whether the exile of Jews will carry on or not, whether the temple will be built. So the interesting idea is that in the Hebrew word Tevet, if you take the letter Tevet, it is like goodness, lot of good. Tov is good, but in Tevet you don't have the letter Vav, you have Tevet. It means it's not a complete, proper, good time. So this missing letters Vav in this name in Hebrew definitely shows that it is a month, as we say, as we are lacking a little bit of truth. Truth is missing, goodness is missing. But nonetheless, the word Tevet does have a connotation of light also. From the word Atava in Hebrew, to prepare the light, to prepare candles, whatever, to do with fire, is called Le'ativ, Atavat Anerot. This is really, the idea is preparation. When you prepare the wick for light. So this is interesting that the word Tevet, in a positive way, represent like preparing the light. So the idea is definitely that the light of Hanukkah, always according to the time, always the 2 days, the first one of Tevet, are really basically the continuation of Hanukkah. Hanukkah have 8 days, and the last 2 days are going into the month of Tevet. So it means in Tevet start with really lightening, yeah, which is the big light of Hanukkah. Kabbalistically, the explanation is that since Tevet, the month of Tevet and Capricorn, is very difficult time for Jews, dark times for history of Jews, therefore, God did it at the beginning, the head of this month will be in the end of Hanukkah, especially Shmini Shel Hanukkah, the 8th of Hanukkah, which is really 8 lights are burning, full of light, so that this month, even though it is unfortunately very difficult one, but the light of the first 2 days of Hanukkah will have a whole influence on the month and will manage to go over it. So this is also very interesting that, according to Kabbalah, there are 3 months in Jewish months, it means the names, which belong to the north. Represent the hidden forces, Satan. And those are Tevet, this month, when the besieging of Jerusalem started. Then you have definitely very, very severe one, which is the month when the walls of Jerusalem were broken. This is the month of Tammuz, which is the month, as unfortunately, also a lot of troubles. The 17th of Tammuz, broken, tables were broken, golden calf, and this is the time before the destruction, because it's the month of Leo. So you had the month of really Cancer, which is Hebrew Sartan, and this is really the month when the bolts of Jerusalem were broken, and then all these months, unfortunately, became very also difficult months for Jews up to the 9th of Av, Leo. 9th of Leo, Av was the destruction, the first temple, second temple, a lot of troubles, the expulsion of Spain, and many other troubles, the expulsion for Yorkshire in England, a lot of troubles. Jews went through this. So really there are 3 months, as we said, according to Kabbalah, it's like belong to the Satan, to the northern forces, which are Tevet, this month now, then Cancer, Tammuz, and then Leo. Right? Difficult. Very difficult month for Jewish history. Now, therefore, really, we have fast on these days. We have the fast today, tomorrow, the pants, the fast on the 10th of Tevet, and then in Cancer we have the 17th of Tammuz, and then we have the big fast day of the 9th of Av. So altogether, very difficult 3 months. In fact, the Kabbalah, the Zohar says that it indicated the 3 months, the story of Moses that was hidden 3 months from the Egyptian, we know, and the expression is Vatispeneu. Tispeneu means really simple, she hid him, Vatispeneu, so in Hebrew also means from Tzafon. So there are 3 months which belong to the north, which really represent difficult time for Jewish people. As I said, we see it all over history, that in these months, a lot of troubles happen to Jews. Also very important to know that every month has an element, an element like in astrology also. So the element of this month, Tevet, is earth. Adama, earth. And this is really, which indicates also in astrology, this kind of element is symbolizing sluggish power of materiality. The definite power dominates the man's influence. Now, what is the idea? On the other hand, it is within the earth that the power of sustenance, of life, is contained. This parable, the influence of the organ of the man's, the liver, that it is source of fresh blood for the human body. It's interesting, really, from one side, as we said, this is a man's difficulties, but for other side, it is a time, really, that one can start building himself like a new blood, like the liver, supplies blood. So in fact, this is a man's, which from the positive, everything is positive and negative. We said, like, everything can be used in the right way, or the opposite. So definitely, this is something with life. Now, the great Kabbalist, Rabbi Zekluria, says that this month, Tevet, and basically really also Shvat, Tevet and Shvat is Aquarius. Really, both of them are, by the way, are influenced by the star Saturn. Interesting. It is very, I wrote in my book exactly beautiful explanation how it goes together. Tevet has to do with Saturn and something Aquarius. Very interesting process of these two planets. The planets also are connected definitely with time. So the Ari says that the months of Shvat and Aquarius correspond to the two eyes. Very interesting. In the eyes are of the most sensitive organs in terms of their ability to draw a person away from spirituality. The eye sees, and so the heart desires. Means so basically, so Tevet and Shvat, really both of them, has to do with the two eyes, right and the left. Definitely there are different things, as we said before, the liver is a part of the body, but the eye represents more the sight. Again, sight can be used for good if you are looking, seeing the right thing, or sight can destroy people, you see the wrong things. So it means that in these 2 months, eyes are negative, also negative, but from that also positive, and you are using it in the right way, definitely. So, what is the connection? Very interesting, because the Hebrew letter Ayin, the letter of this month, has a meaning. Ayin. Ayin is eye, similar to English. Ayin and eye. And this is exactly, we said, part of this month, really, the idea of the eye, sight. And also, if you know the shape of the Hebrew letter Ayin, clearly is built up of 2 letters, really, and then the Bab, which joins them together. So it means you have like the 2 eyes connected to the left, which is the heart, clearly. So the shape of the letter Ayin in Hebrew represent the 2 eyes, which have definitely great impact on the heart, on the left side. So the idea is very interesting, that be also very important in Judaism. You have, in Judaism, you have the 2 things. You have in Judaism, as really, maybe in astrology really also, you have 6 months of the winter, 6 months of the summer. And normally they are parallel. It means that there is connection, like men and women, masculine and feminine. Interesting. Like you take, if you take the first month of the cycle, which is Nisan, right? It's Passover. 15th of Nisan is Passover. So this is the summer. In the winter, you have on the same days, like Tishrei, you have Libra, yes? Then you have Sukkot, also the 15th. And the connection between Nisan and Sukkot, both of them really represent Jews coming out of Egypt, different stages. That means it's always something. So it is very interesting that the couple in the 2 months of the winter, which is Tevet and Shvat, Capricorn and Aquarius, are really couples with the 2 months, like Tevet, which is the 4th month in winter, again the 4th month in the summer, which is Tammuz. Again, you see in Tammuz, as we said, time of trouble. And then you have Av, which is parallel to Aquarius. You have 2 Bishvat, the 15th of Shvat, and you have 2 Be'av. Both represent different, very important, like festivals, Jewish history, right? But this itself shows us how really 6 months of the summer, 6 winter goes together, and there also is a parallel from this point of view. So Tammuz and Av, right? So there are parables, the 2 winter months, as we said, Tevet and Shvat. Now, the natural attribute of Tammuz is vision, as we said. So my book, also vision, Tammuz has to do with sight, with vision also, which is dependent on the eye. This is where evil finds its first base of influence. The sign of Tammuz is Crab, really, not Cancer, really better to say Crab, of Cancer. Contains the word Satan, by the way. Satan have basically the word Cancer also. So, altogether, with the letter Resh, signifying motion, So Sartan is really Satan in motion, frightening, And this is really, as I said, this is a month that the Jews really suffered a lot. It was the breaking of the walls of Jerusalem in the past. It was the time the Jews did the golden calf, and it brought a lot of troubles to Jews all over history. So, so this Sartan is very interesting, like in Hebrew. Every word represents its meaning, its character. Now, what is the heavenly body which influences Capricorn is Shabtai, it's Saturn. And it, the etymology, symbolism of this is really limitation. Interesting that Saturn represents kind of limitation, like depression, It's written in the astrology, says that if a man is under this sign strongly, so it's really can be depressed very often and feeling not bad. It is so interesting that the explanation why the non-Jewish world who believe in the Torah, believe in the Old Testament, and the Old Testament is written that the Sabbath was 7th day, Somehow the Arabs took Friday, and the Christians took Sunday, and they left Sabbath for the Jews. Very, very strange. Many commentators are very surprised what it is, but one of the commentators said, Rabbi Natan Ebesh, he says, very interesting, according to astrology. He said, according to astrology, a Saturday, this is why Saturday is called Saturday, because it connected with, is affected by Saturn, by Saturn, 6 o'clock in the morning, this is the sun. The Saturn, we had influence on it. Every day is influence differently, depending on the planet which is ruling 6 o'clock in the morning. So on Shabbos, 6 o'clock is Saturn. In my book I explained exactly how it works. It was by looking at it. But therefore Shabbos is a day we call really Sabbath, which means Shabtai, Saturn. And therefore on Shabbos normally in the mundane, in the profane, people will feel not so well, depressed a little bit, So therefore the Christians and the Arabs said, no, it's not good for it, they don't feel. So the Arabs preferred Venus, Friday, a lot lust, depends on this, and the Christians preferred Sunday, sun, with the sun. And the Jews got Shabbos, and the idea is to show the Jews are above the Zodiac, because on Shabbos Jews are singing, they are happy, enjoying it, not at all affected by Saturn. Because this is the power of prayer, of the Torah, of mitzvot, of commandments, to elevate people above the Zodiac. This is why I call my book Above the Zodiac. So this is really very interesting, This is really the explanation, which is very strange, that the Christian Arabs, Islam believes in the Old Testament, only they have the additions, but basically they believe that God created the days in 7 days, on the 7th day he rested, and so on. But because of this feeling, emotion, that they don't Shabbos, they said, no, not for us. So everybody took what suits him. So it's very, very interesting that this is a connection of this idea. But as I said, everything also positive. So also Shabtai should have also positive interpretation. So in its positive aspect, Saturn symbolizes the power of deep understanding and contemplation associated with Sabbath, the refraining from mundane activity in order to experience the transcendental. It means that really somebody who's under Shabtai, his mind, his understanding is very interesting, it's strong, and this is what we do on Sabbath. Sabbath you have to study Torah, to learn, and really the power of Saturn, understanding helps a lot to Jews who keep the Shabbat. So, as I said, very, very important day, Shabbos, and the something important Mass, Tevet, but definitely, if using the right way, studying Torah and so on, really is very, very strong on this month, understanding. Now, so what is with the negative expression of this sign? So there is evidence. So it's evidence by being a festive occasion for Christianity, when in the course of their history, much innocent Jews' blood was shed. Joseph Stalin, an extreme anti-Semite, was born under the sign of Capricorn. That's according to the Christian tradition, the founder of Christianity. Unfortunately, unfortunately, at that time, the attitude to Jews was terrible. They killed many, many Jews, the Crusades and so on. Okay, so now it's different, definitely, but whatever it is at that time, really, Jews suffered terribly on these days. So, as I said, good and bad in this month. It's written that in future, the month of Tevet will turn to be a very good month for Jews. And it is so interesting how it comes out with the word Tovot. Now Tevet is missing the letter Vav, so it's Tevet. And in future it will come the month of Tovot, the Vav. So it's written really because the letter Vav represents holiness, sanctity, truth. And unfortunately now we are missing it, but in future we'll get it. The letter Vav will come into Tevet, even two Vavim, and it will bring a lot of light into this month, and will turn to be from Tevet to Tovot, the month of Tovot. It is also interesting and important to know that according to Jewish astrology, every month is a tribe. And the tribe of this month is the tribe of Dan. Yeah, Dan, this month really is symbolizing the power of severe judgment, din. In Hebrew, Dan comes from din. It signifies the power of Isu, that judges the Jewish people harshly in the event of their having forsaken the Torah and its ways. In the desert accompaniment of the Jewish people, the tribe of Dan was in the north. Interesting. From whence issued darkness and judgment, the place in the world where the sun is in hiding, so to speak. So it means it is interesting that really the Dan come from din judgment, and his place in the desert when Jerusalem came to, he was in the northern side. So he's connected with judgment and hidden. So it is so interesting that even the tribe connected with the sign as meaning and connection. Now, it is interesting to see how astrology relates to these people who are born under Capricorn. So astrology relates that people born under the sign of Capricorn, they are strongly drawn to the desire to amass material wealth. I think this is what they say. This tendency is expressed in the letter Ein, this is in Hebrew, the letter of this month, as well as in the right eye, the facial organ of the month according to the Ari. So the idea is that in the negative physiological aspect of the eye is that it lends itself to important ambition, and this acts as a complement to the brazeness of the mountain god, Capricorn. So yeah, this god, is in the mountain. It is very typical to his behavior. Interesting is that in Hebrew, the word for mountain god, it means this is a special kind. Gdi, this is a special kind of god. It's called Gdiizim. Gdiizim is related to the word for the strength and fierceness, as really, as in Hebrew, as is also somebody, brazenness, yeah. So, very interesting, really, to show in really to see in the sign which shows this kind of God, yeah, which is really as this kind of nature of people who are born under this sign. So, as we say, this is very interesting. Also, it is worthwhile pointing out that the Hebrew word ha'ez, the goat, which is Capricorn, that we say, Gdi and ha'ez, the same thing, the goat. And there is a place that we have Jews have a lot of problems from is Gaza, yeah. Also, the people, they are azim, very brazen, yeah. Cheeky. So, also to do with this goat, and in fact it is so interesting that according to Kabbalah, the goat is really the symbol of this month. And the story is, according to Kabbalah, Rabbi Zakluya says that we know the story of Samson. Samson wanted to conquer Gaza, to conquer really the Philistines, and when he got his wife, he sent her a nice present. And what was this? It was a goat. Who sent the goat for his bride. So the explanation, what to tell her, you see, this goat, your son, you're the Philistines, will be in my hand. Interesting, very interesting. So this is really the God. By the way, it is so interesting to point out about the connection between Gaza and this month. The first Intifada broke out in the month of Capricorn. Also, the Palestinians are connected with Capricorn. And the place for where it started was Gaza. So it means the month was the month of Ha'ez, the month of the gods. And the place for where the Intifada, the first one, started was Gaza, the same letter. So you can see amazing connection between the letters of the sign of this month of Capricorn and the place. So I mean it is very, very interesting, as I brought in my books, that you can see such nice connection between, Jewish astrology, especially through the Hebrew letters, and the normal, what you call normal astrology. And if I tell you the story, that really one of the greatest astrologists in the world, Sidney Omar, used to write, to have a column in New York, in the paper, and New York Times, and also was this one who told Kennedy, don't go to Dallas, I'm going to kill you. It is a famous story, this is Sidney Omar. So it is definitely not a Jewish name, but it was an interesting story. I told it a few times that when I was in Los Angeles, I gave a talk about Jewish astrology, and I showed them my book about the Zodiac, and they bought it. So one of the ladies bought my book, and she happened to live in the same building in Santa Monica with Sidney Omar. And after she got my book, she came, she knocked on his door, she said, Sidney, Jews also believe in astrology. I said, no, what you tell me now? I said, no, yes, look, Rabbi Glazerson book. So he looked in the book, I think a few minutes, she told me, and immediately said to her, I tell you the truth. This book now changed all my life. I said, what happened? She said, I tell you the truth. I'm Jewish, my name is Zodiac Capricorn. I was born in Poland, and when I was drawn, to astrology. So Rabbi told me, leave it away, son. So when he saw what is astrology, he was so stuck, so cross with Judaism. He said, I don't want to know anything, no more than Himmelman, nothing to do with Judaism. My name is Sidney Omar. So now he said to her, this book clearly shows the amazing, such strong connection between Hebrew letters and Judaism and astrology. Unbelievable. Even through the Hebrew letters you can understand astrology. So he said to her, I must get this book. So they called the Jewish bookshop there in Los Angeles and said, no, the book is sold out, but the rabbi was here a few hours ago. So then he looked in the book and he saw number of my cousin in Santa Barbara, Leonard Immelson. So he said to her, let us call his cousin, I'm sure he will have the book. So, okay, he called, and who picked up the phone? I was sitting exactly next to the phone, and I said, Sidney Omar for Rabbi Glazerson. I said, who is he saying? No, Arab, who wants me? He said, what's Sidney Omar? He's on the television, radio then. So he told me, look, Rabbi, I was so happy to see the book about the Zodiac, to see that beautiful connection between the stars, the Zodiacs, the Hebrew letters, the new Hebrew letters, because he was studying in a Jewish school, and he knew the letters, and he was amazed. So he said to me, please come to me, I make for you kosher, glad kosher. I invite people from Hollywood, my friends, and I want to show them really a beautiful connection between Hebrew letters, Hebrew, and the idea of the stars. So this was what I came to his place, invited people there, and for a few hours we spoke together, and definitely showing clear connection between the Hebrew letter and letters, the stars, and Baruch Hashem, she passed away a few years ago, but everyone could see about him that his original name is Zelig Kimmelman. He was really born in Poland, he was studying in the Jewish school, and he was happy to be a Jew. So, interesting. So in fact, we can carry on a lot about the month of Tevet. I wrote many pages about this, but as I said, okay, you can see much more about it in my book about the Zodiac. You can get it at GlazersonBooks.com, Amazon. But as I said, there is a lot more about it. You can see the book. But meantime, what I want to give you some ideas, the connection between Jewish astrology and general astrology. There is a connection, especially all of them come through the Hebrew letters, because the Hebrew letters were the foundation of the world. And therefore, perhaps I give you an example, for example, a nice example really, about a Hebrew letter with which a planet was created and how the meaning of it exactly fits what it is. Now this is, Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet, and it represents really, good heart and generosity. People are born on Jupiter, have good heart, emotionally, to help people. Now, what is the letter of the alphabet that this planet was created with? Tzaddik. With tzaddik, tzedakah, tzedek. In Hebrew, really this planet called tzedek. Tzedek is zakat, charity, helping. Exactly what it is, you see. Then also, if you take, for example, Mercury, which is a very, very quick star, goes very, very quick around the world, I think 80 days, but it is known to be really very, very, very quick running planet. It was created with the letter Reish. Reish in Hebrew is R. See the expression is the expression of movement, rushing, racing, and running. All you have to do with the letter Reish. So it is with other planets. If you take the letters which you created, you will see that really, basically, their nature are according to the Hebrew letters. So, as I said, very interesting topic. There's a lot to discuss about it, but I think in this short lecture, you got the idea of this month, Tevet, and Jews who are fasting tomorrow. The Jews will fast tomorrow. They will realize for what they are fasting. The beginning of exile, the beginning of the troubles for Jews. And therefore this day, fasting and praying, definitely doing repentance, can change the whole history for good. So, as I said, a little bit taste of the Jewish astrology.